Hey, welcome everybody to our Oneness Conversations for 2024. This is our third year in a row here. Today we have the topic of I Have a Vision. So welcome. Thanks for joining along. If you want to look at any of the other previous recordings, feel free to take a look at our YouTube channel or our website, and we'll put the link in the chat. And our Judith, our fearless leader, has our topics for this year. We're meeting 4 times this year, and today is I Have a Vision. So Judith, feel free to take it away.
Thank you so much, Joey. As you noticed, I just turned the light off and then I turned it back on. So welcome, everyone. The theme of today's conversation is really important for these times of going through a lot of darkness, but in that darkness becomes the light merging with the darkness in the oneness of our spirituality and our hearts. And we are all as one universal spiritual family on a planet right now going through much change. But in that change is inner and outer transformation. So I just want to, again, thank everyone for coming together in the flow of circles and conversations of the heart. And to thank Joey and Kim, my wonderful leaders that keep calling me fearless. And I just love it because I think we all have that fearless energy to be authentic to who we are. And these are times of authenticity, of living from the real self, of discovering that divine energy that seeks to and urges to, through our voices, give people hope and inspiration that a new world is emerging. So today, as I speak from the Algonquin, Ottawa, Quebec side, and Ottawa side in Gatineau, the Algonquin Anishinaabe territory has a beautiful flow of a river that runs through the heart of democracy in Canada. And this river is a watershed that is one of the most fifth important waterways on planet Mother Earth. This river watershed is a great teacher for all humanity right now to value life and value water. We are water, and water gives us life. For every newborn child that comes into this world, to have beautiful parents like Kim and all of you together today, what we're seeing is the joy of playing together, all ages right now, is what brings forth the spirit of love and the new that's emerging. The children are here from another dimension of reality to remind us that we have a child in us all, a child that wants to play, lighten up, and have some fun. So thank you all for being here today. And I'm going to invite you all and Kim to let us know a little bit of what you've been doing with your beautiful children. I've been watching you have a great deal of fun. And I wish we could put some of that fun in our conversations to show people how much fun it is to play. So go for it, Kim, and tell us what you've been up to.
Well, it's definitely been fun over here. We are in the Philadelphia area of the United States, where when I first moved here, we got lots of snow every winter. And for the past couple years, you could blame global warming, perhaps. We've had really nothing. And in fact, last year it was all over the news and the radio that we had no measurable amount of snow at all whatsoever. So, of course, all of the children have been very sad. My daughter got a sled for Christmas a couple years ago that we never got to use until this year. So last week we had our first snowstorm and they got to have a snow day. It was only 6 inches. So those of you who might, live in Buffalo or places where it snows a lot, 6 inches, is like nothing. But it was enough for the kids to go out and go do some sledding. It wasn't good packing snow, so we couldn't make a snowman, but we were able to throw it up in the air and, play around, run around a little bit. Even the baby, our 6-month-old, we brought her out and kind of put her hand in it and let her experience this new thing that she's never seen before called snow, and the coldness and the crispness of it all. It was just beautiful. I always love a good snowstorm. They bring a lot of energy and the world just turns white and sparkly after a great snowstorm when you see it all on the branches and everything. So I love it. I love to see the winter wonderland now that I'm a mom and I can just take the snow day off and not drive anywhere. That makes it a lot easier to enjoy the season. But bringing our theme into it, the theme of vision, part of experiencing the joy and the wonder, the winter wonderland, and all of the fun, that is part of my vision as a mom, is to be able to allow my kids to experience the world as it is, and see it and explore it and make it fun. You know, as grown-ups, and I've been there, I always worked at a job where like we had to go to work, we were essential staff. So even in snowstorms, I've been there where we had to stay overnight at work so we could be there and take care of people, and it was always a headache. So if you're in that position, I hear you, I feel you, I've been there, and I never enjoyed that. But as a mom, now I can help them to enjoy the snow, to see the beauty in it, to see the sparkles in it, and to take some time to go play and make a snowman if you can, or go sledding. So we tried to see how fast they could go. They were sledding around the parking lot. Of course, we were watching for cars, you know, keep them safe, but let them enjoy. So what's your vision for fun this year? As we talk about having a vision, how can you add a little bit more fun to 2024? Because that'll make the year go so much better for you. If you can make it fun, just try it. I'd love to hear what you guys are doing.
I love that because it goes into my comments around the Ottawa River watershed. Because of climate change, we're beginning to see the snow that we usually get in the nice cold weather, where we have the longest skating rink in the world, is having some challenges this year. And again, it gets back to the water theme. And so I'm having a vision that's coming through of bringing families together of all ages, the elders of all cultures, and all the mothers and grandfathers and aunties and uncles, to have a wonderful circle, to circle this Ottawa River watershed with two bridges that cross from Gatineau to Ottawa. And in the fall of 2024, let us embrace the Thanksgiving of living in an area where the water is so beautiful and pure and healing and clean. And that gives a wonderful message to the ones that represent our voices to make sure that they keep this watershed pure and clean. And it doesn't take on a political message, it takes on the family message of universal human beings all over the planet, wanting to care for the water, for each other, and most importantly, have fun as families. Multicultural families coming together to celebrate the joy of being and living on a planet that gives us all life. And so, Joey, you're way out in Colorado. Tell us a little bit about what's going on out there.
Very similar as well for both of you. There's a lot colder here, definitely snow. A couple weeks ago, we had some negative Fahrenheit temperatures. And it's always beautiful, like Kim was talking about before we got on the call, of just so nice to be in a state that has four seasons. Originally being from Southern California, there's not four seasons. So you get them really quickly. You don't notice the difference. It's kind of a temperate climate all the time. And being in Colorado for the last 10 or so years, I just always appreciate it, because when the new season comes, it makes you appreciate the season that just passed. And then you get to experience the new change, knowing that it's going to change again. So enjoy the time that you have during that time. And a few days ago, I was outside, and my first inclination was like, oh my God, it's so cold, and like wanting to like rush to do what I was doing and then come back inside. And then I kind of stopped for a moment. I was like, actually, I love this. Like my initial reaction was, oh, I got to get out of here real quick. This is way too freezing. But then I like caught myself and was like, no, I actually really love this. Like I have a warm house inside. I don't have to run back. Like I'm not going to die. It's just an initial response. And then I slowed my walk and kind of took a deep breath in and just really enjoyed the cold coming in, and, you know, the smoke as you exhale, and walked a little more slowly, just let my body kind of experience the cold, that depth of cold that was there, and realized that it wasn't something to be alarmed about. It was actually something that I can enjoy. And also, it's not going to be here forever. I do love the cold. I love snowboarding, and I haven't been able to do that yet this season. So that kind of was my moment of like, oh, I actually really love this. And also at the same time feeling for people that I know that are homeless out here and don't have a place to live, and actually live out in the cold, and have a really hard time. So like I have that privilege to be able to have a warm home and the ability to support myself in that way. Um, And for the topic of having a vision, my year has changed a lot. I got this wonderful opportunity to work with a Bitcoin accountant. So I'm working with a Bitcoin firm now, with a couple other CPAs, and so I'm doing bookkeeping for them. Just started that role at the beginning of the year, so my vision going forward has changed immensely in the direction that I've been wanting, and also surprised that it happened in the way that it did. So very excited about that. And so now I'm in that zone of really planning my year and opening up my schedule in a new way, and seeing what I can build going forward. So it's very exciting for me. In the same way that like I'm still going to be doing the emotional healing stuff. I'm an independent contractor. So my new title that I've kind of thought for that got from a friend of mine is a specialized generalist. So I'm very general in the things that I love to learn about and do for work or do for pleasure, but also like to specialize deeply in each of the things that I'm interested in. So I know culturally we usually like kind of do one thing, which can be great in its own. And it seems throughout my life I kind of do many different things and wear many different hats. So this is one of them that I'm doing, as well as keeping the ones I'm already have built so far, and switch the hats whenever the time frame works for me. Um, so yeah, so that's where I'm at right now, and going to be leaving here actually after this call to travel again for a couple weeks. So it's a exciting time right now.
Wow.
Lovely to be with you all.
Well, Joey, thank you so much, because I was loving it, admiring that beautiful hat that you have on, or a toque, we would call it in Canada. And as a person that wears many hats, as you were talking about what's emerging for you for living your passion, the universe is calling us now to listen to what's inside our hearts. And it's like a setup job. When we're ready, the universe will present us with exactly the right people. And as we keep emerging into the light of living from the best inside ourselves to our full spiritual potentiality, I love that word, potentiality. It's a powerful word. And what I'm beginning to see is, last year, I had a wonderful vision of creating a circle of all ages and all cultures, a grandmother's circle, a rocking chair grandmother's circle, to embrace all ages and all cultures, to come and just rock and talk and have conversations. And just the other day, I walked into a place, my intuition said, it's time to ask one more time. I walked in, I met a beautiful young man, and he said, bingo, I'm going to help you. I'm even going to help you get the rocking chairs. So I got the space, and I've got a person that really is resonating with that vision. So I'm sharing that now because this theme is important for anyone listening. And for the wonderful people on this call, these wonderful souls have been on that journey with me, wearing many different hats for many years. And I'm so blessed to have them companion with me as we continue that journey to the always more. So perhaps at this point, we might invite them to have a voice to speak to what their vision is emerging for this new year 2024. Sylvia, would you like to speak first?
Sure. Well, I'm Sylvia Parker. I'm actually from Ottawa, Ontario, as well as Judith. So it has been a delight to hang out with many of you here on the call over the years. And I know we are all one. And I have got to the point that, yes, I need to take care of myself to know that if we're all one, then let me embrace my beingness and be whole and be the light and be of service to this world. So getting there, getting closer, maybe never to be 100%, but every day is a new day. And I have been delighted to, like you said, I think really attracting, like I was just on a call before this, and I kind of threw out there that intentional community ambassador liaison, and she's like throwing out all these different places around the globe. I'm like, okay, we're going to get to 444 in no time. So delighted to to say that the journey of participating in many of the adventures around the globe for intentional community, exit and build summits coming up. Yesterday, I was on a call. This nature university guy, his passion is like working with the kids on the land, doing it. They have all these different opportunities to have kind of like badges and things. So it's really an outdoor school. And I'm like, okay, I know he's in Austin, Texas, but there's got to be a way that we can actually transfer that into all the different intentional communities around the globe. So be working on that.
Yes, I love the word intentionality, getting that clear vision and keeping it simple. And looking after ourselves first. So thank you for affirming that, because that's the key. I think the key medicine is to live from joy and take ourselves less seriously so we can take others less seriously. And that energy will to attract to us the wonderful people that simply want to emerge into the new now at a time that is great challenges. And Joey, you spoke to that, the number of people that are definitely in need of care and love and compassion from all of us as citizens of the planet. We all have a response and ability to do better at creating more equality and more mutual respect. And I think that's the journey of young parents, to teach that to their children by the way they behave, like Kim is doing with her children. The children learn not by what I'm talking about, they learn by what I'm doing as a parent. And that brings forth strength of character. And so Sylvia is a mother, and I know Marty's a beautiful father, and Marty's on the call today. And I know that Lori is also a parent. And so we have uncles like Joey and aunts like my daughter. Thank goodness for the aunties and the uncles that help the modern parents of the society that we're living in. Because in spite of the joy, there is also a lot of tragic moments in life. And we need to have the human family coming together now in wonderful new ways of supporting each other. That's called polarity. But for every yin, there's a yang. So let's have Marty talk about a lot of wonderful things that I've been getting from him. And thank you, Marty, for being you and sharing the information that helps Judith to live the path of holistic healing and knowing what my body needs to care for myself as well. So Joey, I'm glad that you're going to meet Thomas, because you have mutual connections around emotional trauma and the work you're both doing. So thanks for both of you being on this call and bringing forth that beautiful male energy of service and wearing many hats. So Marty, fill us in on what you're up to lately.
Hello, everybody. I find it interesting how we'd like to specialize on things, and I have some very good teachers, and I just find it difficult when this naturopathic physician talks about, oh, it'll help people, it'll help with cancer, and I'm saying no, it'll help people with cancer. So I'm about emotional trauma release, not about growing emotional trauma. So I like to think outside the planet, and I invite you to use some, what's it called? PSD. Do you know what PSD is? Poetic suspension of disbelief. So lately I've been looking at the topic of med beds, and I'm getting vague references from different sources, except in the last week I listened to something that was aired back in October, but it's a medium who is able to connect with Thor Han Edrian, and he's extraterrestrial, and he is a representative of the Galactic Federation. And in this third of 4 questions and answers with Thor, what happened is that he's saying that the med beds are in full production. They're on the moon, and the priority right now is soldiers who have been in intergalactic battles, and then it will be the children who have life-threatening injuries, and anyone who's in pain, basically, because then they can't do their own meditation to lift up their consciousness. Mm-hmm. So the priority will be with ailing people, including older people, to preserve their DNA. So if you're a healthy 70-year-old, take your number, wait in line. Because there's other people of priority.
I just want to say I'm soon to become a healthy 80-year-old, so I want to get at the front of the line.
Well, you'll be pushed to the middle of the line, I think. That's what will happen. So, but it's all good, and I'm collecting threads from different people, and one of the things I like is that all of us, our purpose is here for joyful expression to the universe.
Wonderful.
And any challenges we have, It's all about what can we learn from this, and have, more compassion for others, and, move forward. That's basically it.
That's a wonderful message, because a lot of people are at different levels of consciousness. So some might be having a challenge digesting some of your comments right now. And so what I would say, I often think of the message of the Christ, who for me was one of the greatest teachers on the power of love and care and compassion. And I remember one of the things that spoke to me as a young person, when he actually gave the message to his disciples, when he was leaving this planet and his spirit was leaving. And he simply said, I go to prepare a place for you. My Father's house has many mansions. And so a lot of people take translations from the Christian traditions and many religious traditions of many diverse spirituality paths, of which there are many. We take them literally. But what we don't understand is much teachings that came from the ancient ones and to this day are in symbol and metaphorical language. So my Father's house is a wonderful image of many dimensions of reality and consciousness. And we're all back here on planet Mother Earth, all at different states of consciousness, awakening to the best inside ourselves, where spirituality that brings us together. So when we look at the rainbow, it's a color that brings people from all traditions to see that in the sunshine of spiritual language is the old breaking down as the new emerges. So there's less separation and more unifying of spirit. And spirit is the power, from my perspective, of the energy of love. And that's what
Judith,
brings us together.
I think to help people who are viewing this to get some grounding in this subject, we just have to look at the United States, who passed legislation December 22nd, the Defense Authorization Act,
Yeah.
which has an amendment recognizing historically for the first time publicly, legislatively, that there are extraterrestrials among us and who are there with technologies, and it's open to the idea that man can also make special technologies. Especially, I've learned that in the space lab and Apollo missions, in microgravity, they were able to grow crystals 10 times bigger and develop advanced medical technologies. And this is done by man, not by extraterrestrials. And because of the microgravity, that they're able to develop hormones and enzymes that with one jab, you can get rid of diabetes.
Wow.
And
Now,
that was
that's
shut down.
wonderful information, isn't it?
Well, but it's old information, and it got shut down like several other innovations because they were, NASA shut it down by saying, oh, that's over industrialization of space, because it would destroy a lot of economies.
Yeah.
But the objection is that you can create many more new industries with the new technologies.
Absolutely. And I think these space programs have brought a lot of fruit to the consciousness of humanity. A lot of the new ways of helping people bring forth balance to disease in many forms has come from a lot of the projects of sending people to space. For example, I'm using the magnetic resonance stimulation of MRS, which is energy medicine, which was a tool that was created after they sent Yuri Gagarin way back when the Russians, and they begin to realize that when men leave this dimension from the earth plane, they need to have the energy of the earth from the actual magnetic field. So when the astronauts were coming back, they were very, very not well. So that took form to create something that the Germans created that would mirror that actual technology to create balance in the body. So I'm so glad that this what we're seeing in the United States is they're actually taking it through government now to bring forth what a lot of human beings have known for a long time, that there are a lot of things coming forth that help us to awaken our minds to see that everything's connected, and a lot of good information is coming forth now to help bring forth health, such as you're talking about with diabetes. So this is a time of awakening to begin to find our own truth and find what speaks to us in our own hearts. Now, Lori is on the call today, and thank you, Thomas, for sharing that information. Lori's on the call today, and she's working in a wonderful field of basic, wonderful, nutritious eating, and the holistic cook is part of her background. And that all relates to medicine. We're talking about medicine of joy, medicine of being alert to the new things that are coming forth that Thomas is helping us to understand, that there are things that can help diabetes, which is one of the largest growing challenges in North America, and a lot of us because of diet. Nevertheless, it's a challenge for people to live in a healthy way. So Lori, would you like to add about when we get to eating healthily, part of your background is helping people understand that food is also medicine. So that brings us full swing to the vision of how do we live holistically, embracing all these new things that can give us indigestion and overload sometimes. But nevertheless, when we're ready, we'll be attracted to exactly what's for our highest good. Your speaker needs to be on, Lori.
Hi.
Good morning.
Good morning. Holistic cooking to me is starting with the spirit and eating in gratitude and giving thanks is going to expand whatever nutrients are in that food that we have been graced to have, no matter how little or how much. But that attitude of prayer and gratitude is essential for optimum health and receiving things in gratitude, not only the food, but the company and the words at the table as much as the physical food, because we are spiritual beings on a human journey, and we have to connect to earth. I think part of my journey has, I really appreciated what Marty has said about being more grounded, because we have all been star children coming from heaven to earth. And this food is a way of grounding us, but also knowledge of what kind of body we're in. The ability to describe ourselves is very young. I believe that, of course, Ayurvedic medicine from India has always had that wisdom of a body shape determining how the characteristics of the personality will be. And they had 3 body shapes. But what happened in 1983 is Dr. Abravanel in California decided, no, there's 4 body types. He included the thyroid body type, which the Ayurvedic medicine did not do. And then we went from that understanding in 1983 to 1994, where the 4 blood types became a concept of how the blood gets thick by certain foods that doesn't have the antibodies to deal with the lectins or stickiness. And therefore, there's certain foods to avoid so you don't get sticky blood. Of course, that is very badly attacked. People don't want to hear the truth about themselves. But there's the 4 body types, the 4 blood types. And then in 2005, the psychiatrists in New York City got themselves together over a 20-year period to develop a questionnaire to determine what neurotransmitters in the brain are dominant. And the acetylcholine type are your academic type, the intuitive type. And the dopamine type are the happy types. And you have the serotonin, which is another type of happy type, more dancing and singing. Dopamine is that place of quiet love, of stillness. It's a different kind of love. And then you had the GABA type, which my husband was, which was the nervous type, and they need calming before they can think properly. And so these there's thousands of neurotransmitters, but science has come to this place of the 4 major ones. And what I see is the 4-4-4 pattern in our body that's now being magnified into the 4-4-4 intentional communities that Sylvia has brought me into. And my speaking voice now, I believe, will be able to be expressed best in the intentional community where all faiths are gathering, all body types are gathering, all blood types are gathering, and all these different attitudes that create this diamond that is the human family that's trying to birth itself, coming out of the womb of darkness. And I don't see a blending of dark and light. I see the light piercing the darkness instantly, like it's just not gonna, no darkness, instantly, just by the word that we pick, like talking about the light or talking about love. It's just immediately people are just gravitating, because we're souls. We've come from light and love, and as soon as we speak the language of heaven, we just all resonate, you know. And this place of joy is one that I have been so blessed to have. I can count 5 or 6 experiences with the Spirit where it either it's the first time I felt it, I was 24 in Toronto in a selling yards and yards of material to the creator of the Caravana Parade. I was cutting 12 yards of black velvet for one of his costumes, and I was feeling, when he spoke to me, this shimmering all over my back. I had never ever felt that before. And this spiritual connection was from our pre-existence, where we had fought together in battle back to back. And we were defending each other's life, and we were laying our life down for each other, willing to give our life to save the life of the other. And there is no greater love than that. And that this was my, you know, a pre-planned program where we would meet when I'm 24, so that I would forever remember that quality of giving all of myself to whatever the cause is, to be fully intentional, and with this wit and clarity that I'm gifted to have, with this throat chakra opening where I can speak and people understand me in a simple language. And I have this ability to feel that spirit descending all over my body from head to toe, and feeling it inside my body and every cell. Like there was degrees of experiences 7 times over. And the last one was with Judith at Parliament Hill. I was holding the tree of life. And when the crows stopped their drumming, and that mystical oneness that it's always magical when the drums stop. And the spirit was all over my body. And every time I feel that, I know a door is opening. Another, the things are waiting for me as a pioneer to go into these areas with the light that is descending through our bodies, to touch the light in the bodies of those assembling in these different banners. Now, the food issue is
so Lori, I'm sorry, but we're conscious of the food of spirituality that you fed us very beautifully with right now. But I really want to honor that maybe that's what Spirit wanted you to speak to, because it's absolutely beautiful, which also honors the fact that we're still living in a time where we have to honor the time. And I think Sylvia was mentioning she had to leave at 11. So I just want to honor and thank you for that beautiful message of love. Spiritual sunshine, the calendar that we're using from Unity Church, is the theme of that church this year. And as you were talking, the light that is emerging through your story to all the people with open hearts and minds that might have heard today, I believe the soul needs to be fed as well. Yes. So maybe that's how Spirit was calling you today, to speak to food from a spiritual context and your life experiences. So Kim, I'll bring it back to you. And again, I think we had a timekeeper that was going to give us a little bit of a signal of what the time was doing. Because spirituality, we could be speaking here for probably 24 hours and still enjoying each other's beautiful energy. So I just want to thank you all. And Marty took us to different dimensions of reality to understand there's so many worlds out there. where people are working together to care and love and have compassion. And hopefully in this program, as we continue sharing, we have a vision. It will inspire us all to see in all of our communities, we can create these circles of care and love and compassion and experience that joy and that light that Lori so eloquently spoke to, and all of you have spoken to today. So Kim, I'm not sure of the time, but I know that Joy opened us and you're going to close us. Does anybody have a time? I think we have about 11:45 right now. Now, in spirit time, there's no such thing as time. So we humans are doing the best we can. So would anyone else like to speak to what Lori just spoke to and how it resonated for their hearts? And just raise your hands and we'll go with the flow. Okay, Joey.
Yeah, thanks, Lori. That was amazing in terms of like when you were speaking about your story and cutting the cloth for that person. Like as you were speaking that, I felt my back kind of just like tingles all the way around, and lasted pretty much the entire time of the story. So it was always lovely to. It's almost as if I felt the spirit that you were feeling during that time, especially around the knowing like the historical context that you as souls had experienced together. It's like all of that time converges all right now as you speak it again. So yeah, it was really amazing to be able to feel that along with you. It's always lovely to be with you all here and hear your stories, because it reminds me I'm in the right place, especially getting to experience feelings like that again through someone else's story. So thanks so much for sharing that.
So powerful, Joy. Stories are so important. And the stories of all our lives are energies that help us to awaken to the always more of what we don't understand intellectually. We don't have to. It's about experience. So Kim, could you add to that and how it's spoken to you as a young mom that's having so much joy with your children?
Yeah, absolutely. I've gotten so much from really everyone here today so far. Because we've gone in so many different directions. We've talked about the physical and the spiritual and emotional well-being, and Lori brought in the number 4, which I think is really powerful, because there a lot of things in life are there's the number 4. We have the 4 seasons, the 4 directions, and the year now is 2024, which when you add it all together actually creates number 8, which is all about infinity, infinite possibilities. As I that's my lens on the world. There are infinite possibilities. And hearing what Marty spoke to with the new technology and different directions that we can go in with our health now, and what Lori brought to us about food and wholeness and healing, these are all new possibilities, which again aren't new, so to speak. Some of them are very, very, very old, but it's like we're coming into this new vision where we're seeing things in a different way, or we're rediscovering things in a new way. Just like I talked about my little baby, my 6-month-old, discovering snow for the first time. It's possible she's discovered it many lifetimes before. And of course, we've been through this process as a family with our 6-year-old, watching her discover everything for the first time 6 years ago, and now we're watching it with new eyes. But the joy and the wonder is still there. We're just watching it unfold in a new way. So it's sort of like we're always in a spiral in life. We come around and it seems like we're going in circles, but we're moving upward. So the circle, it's not a circle that just goes around. It's a spiral that spirals upward as we grow and expand and come around and get to see things in a new perspective, in a new way, and a new vision. So again, that brings us back around to the idea of vision for this year. There's a whole bunch of new perspectives that we just got to hear about today. Maybe one of those was a new nugget for you. if you're listening to this and you're wondering, what is my vision for 2024? I don't know. Well, there's infinite possibilities available to you. So open up and be willing to see things from a new perspective, because the possibilities are infinite. And enjoy. That's my little nugget for this year.
Okay, thanks.
It looks like Judith is on her way back. She stepped out for just a moment. Here we go. Welcome back, Judith.
I'm so sorry. I was expecting a very important call today, and I needed to make a move.
You're fine. You're
Not
fine.
bad for an elder, eh? So the universe has a wonderful sense of humor. It wasn't the call I was expecting, but it's a very important call as well. So sometimes we hear that there's a saying, nature is calling, spirit is calling. Sometimes there's no accidents when you get a call at exactly the right moment to remind you that we can actually do something different and pick up the phone during a Zoom call, and it's okay because we're with kindred spirits.
Yes.
So thank you all for your wonderful presence today. And Marty, before we leave, I just wanted to thank you for connecting me to the Lloyd, and what's his name? Schaffer, Sylvia?
Halferty.
Thank you. I appreciate it, because he did get back to me, and we've had rather a lengthy conversation via email.
Yeah.
And
Well, I'd just like to add some references if people want to explore further on YouTube. It's Dr. Michael Salla, Salla.
Okay.
He is head of exopolitics. He interviews all kinds of people. He's even interviewed David Adair, who's developed lots of interesting inventions as well. He's saying that basically, Michael Salla, who has this Elena person as the medium, that Jupiter, there's a hub there, and it's nearing completion. And the Earth Command, Earth Alliance is helping build it with the extraterrestrials. And it's a Stargate, and they described it very much like the technology of Deep Space Nine, that Star Trek series. And they talked about how Roddenberry was given the information from the ETs via the Navy, and that he left the plans for the Deep Space Nine producers. And they say that the whole program finished with the Deep Space Nine television series. So now we can look at that with more realism now.
Yeah, and a new lens, like they were
So
talking
they said
about.
then also that the information disclosure was to have been done in 2023, but for some reason there's been a delay, and then anytime there's a delay, it's more opportunity for us to, take opportunities to increase our consciousness. And one aspect was brought up that people who are lost and are sick and they don't want to wait any longer, how do they know that all this is true? And they said, look up in the sky and you'll see us. We have like 7,000 starships out there, and you can't see them. They're cloaked maybe in the third dimension, but when you go to the fifth dimension, you can see them. So it's I just love the precision of the information that they're giving us, and I think truth is stranger than fiction.
Walk in peace. I've lost my voice.
Thank you.
So I think, Kim, you were going to close today. Thomas has made me speechless. Thomas has made me speechless.
Oh, you did a good job all by yourself. To me, it means you either are supposed to say something or not say something.
Yes,
Yep.
exactly.
Maybe it's for Kim to say something.
Well, Kim is going to be doing the
digesting.
closing.
Close this out, Kim.
And I think it was a good way to make the closing because of you bringing a whole new lens, which came through in the vision of a while ago. Someone was talking about everybody that had spoken today brought in a diverse perspective of seeing. It really describes the times we're living. And that information is powerful. So do our own homework of self-awareness and self-knowledge, because we are actually physicians of our own bodies. So open the mind and see what the universe is presenting us with. These are magical times, and spiritual sunshine is shining through all the storms of life. And it's nice to know that we have a lot of cooperation happening in all levels of intelligence right now. That gives us hope for all future generations. Find our voices, lose our voices, and bring them back again. So I think we're close to closing today. And Kim, I think we're going to be doing another one. And do you have in front of you when we're doing it, and to mention to people to set that date and what the theme is? So
I
we'll
do.
pass it to Tim.
I do. So I have that our next meeting will be March 22nd. The spring equinox, planting seeds. Planting seeds will be it. So a few months from now, we'll be coming back together and talking about the seeds that we have planted as a result of our vision, which I think is a beautiful progression as we go through this year. So today, take joy, take all that you have heard, all the different perspectives, and just let it go into your heart, and let that vision that is within you come forward. Take it, take a hold of it, trust it, bring it into this new year, and be ready to plant those seeds to watch what's going to grow this year. It's going to be so powerful. So with that, I invite you all to join us on March 22nd for our next Oneness Conversation, and be very well and joyful as we go forward this year. Many blessings to you all.
Thank you,
Thank
Kim.
you so much. And this of course will be taped so people can listen to it. And I'm hoping that the www.wuchaway Wellness Learning will be a wonderful resource and tool for people to plant the seeds, feed the seeds, water the seeds, and like spiritual sunshine through the power of love, care, and compassion, feed our own hearts to have greater understanding and patience with ourselves and each other, because it begins with self and expands outward to the person that I'm seeing something in is a mirror to me to be seeing something within myself. And that is the seed of love. So fear not, there is love, and it's growing. And thank you all so much for being here today, and bless you all. Take good care. Thanks, everyone.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.